Good afternoon. A little catch up from me. I know that you really haven't heard from me for some time. I think we're all going through stages where we're either very busy and communicate a lot, or we just kind of hold back a little bit. But in the light of weight loss, I want to share a few thoughts with you today. A couple of days, maybe a week or two ago, a couple of my friends has asked me to share with them why I have lost weight, or how did I do and what did I eat, and because they've known me all my life, so they know what stages my body has been through. But and they also said, I don't want to send because I don't want them to get thin, but I really want to share some insights this morning with you that I think is very, very important. As you all know, I started a kaftan business in lockdown, simply by being desperate, waiting for my cruise line to resume sailing, and I have to get busy, and I just can't do any more courses online. I'm so sick and tired of that. So I started that. But besides that, I want to speak about slimming. Now, maybe one of the things my sister said to me over the week was, you need to get more plumpier people, because thin people don't really wear kaftans. Because they don't want to, just have something loose on. And it is more for bigger women that just wants to cover something that will wear. And I wasn't really agreeing, but in hindsight, I would share the following. I think my whole life, I've had a very personal dress code. I never really bought clothes from shops because I didn't have enough money to buy the designs from designers that I followed my whole life, and that I absolutely love from the minute I got my brains. And I could never really follow those trends. So I started my own look by mixing, matching, layering, and the fact that I was very into drama, theater, arts, all that type of thing. I really wanted to do fashion design as part of all that, but because I couldn't draw, I always thought I could never become a fashion designer. So my style and my look has always been a bit eclectic, a bit eccentric, and that is the type of things that I've always liked. However, when you dress like that, it is very easy to cover up. It's very easy to hide your figure, because if I wear loose and flowy things and layering, and I've always had headbands over my head and wearing hats and weird jewelry, then it takes a bit of the emphasis away from a small body. And like you, I've always wanted to be thinner, but I didn't. And I did prepare a program for you to lose weight, and I will include it again. That is a psychological process combined with tapping. Now, if you ask me why and how did I lose weight, I'm going to tell you there's two things. And one was the psychological side and the physical side. Now, the psychological side is when I do a hypnotic meditative process combined with tapping. And I truly believe that that is what has helped me through stages of not cheating on my diet, because I have not even cheated with a crumb on my diet, if I can call it a diet, because I don't. I say I have made some changes in my health lifestyle. I have followed this process because I know where my goal weight is, and mentally a lot of things changed inside me, and that's why I've won the psychological war of losing weight. I can share my process, and I have, and I will share again. if you follow that and if you do that, it may just be a key for you to at least open the door. On the physical side, I'm also going to share some insights to you. I'm looking at pictures, and I'm going to post a picture of me wearing a purple lilac evening dress, standing with my colleagues, and we all work for Desert Adventures in Dubai. I was super slim and I looked very beautiful in this dress. But for years, I could never, ever fit into that little dress again. It did not work with my body ever again. It is the first time ever in many years that I am slipping into that dress and it's fitting me like a glove. I have lived in the US as well, and I have pictures of me being very, very thin. Now, at that stage, my best friend there, her name was Mandy. And we're still good friends, but we're not seeing each other often. Her husband is a doctor. A doctor, he also had a pharmaceutical company. So Ralph is extremely knowledgeable. So whenever I went to visit and bring my diet problems and challenges, and they were very, very healthy people, he could always make a small adjustment and said, if you do this and eat a little this and do a little that. And when I think back, I have most probably at that time in my life have been the thinnest and the shapiest of my life because of the things that I've done. And when I look at my body now, I think I'm about maybe 4-5 kilos away from the time that I was the best of the best when I was there. Why I'm sharing this with you is that I think losing weight is a journey. Now, a journey in the sense of a one size fits all is not working with diet or losing weight. My cup dance is a one size fits all. But I learned that dieting is not a one size fits all. Now, I have, as you know, I'm working on the ocean. I did look after myself a little bit with a mind that I'm going to go for my medical. And when you work on the sea, you do a very comprehensive medical. There's always this nightmare fear inside of you that something is wrong that you don't know about, because if you apply it any other place in the world, it will not be having effect than working on the sea. And I went there and I saw my weight and I was so happy because it was actually 7 or something kilos lighter than when I actually did my first medical 2 years ago. And I was very happy about it. So I thought, oh, I did lose a little. In the meantime, after my medical, I actually lost so much more weight. But I have been through stages where my body has not want to work anymore and doesn't want to lose, or it doesn't want to work where I want to lose it. And then people are telling you to do fat and then not fat. And then I try a very low, there was 2-3 weeks, almost maybe a month, where I just did like 500 calories a day. So I've done different things. But why I'm sharing that with you is because you have to figure out what is your situation. Now, I think every time you reach a challenge, you learn something new. Now, I've always been, everybody knows, I've always been somebody that drinks hot water and lemon. I've always put coconut oil in my water. I drink chia seeds. So overall, I'm actually a very, very healthy person. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Yes, of course, I have a very sweet tooth and love my cake. But I have not had any sweet things. But my body also stopped losing weight a little. And I will also share some of the names of the people that I'm starting to follow and I started doing a fine study. I went for a blood test the other day, and my sugar was so high. And I was so upset because I haven't touched sugar. And this damn nurse asked me if I've been drinking the night before. I was livid, actually, of being so upset because I'm taking such good care of myself. And this woman is asking me if I was drinking last night. But that brought me to a whole new path of actually investigating insulin resistance. And because my calories are so low, my protein gets triggered, and and my sugar went up. And if you don't eat, and I'm not a diet person, so I'm not sharing with you the science behind it. I'm just explaining to you that you need to go on a journey, because we may think, for instance, by taking a sugar substitute, that we're doing ourselves all the world of good, but it actually triggers the glucose, even just because your brain is tasting the sugar in it. Although there isn't sugar, they're tasting the sweet. So I've learned all these extra things on my body. Now, this morning I got dressed and I was standing in the mirror in my underwear, and I looked at my body, and for the first time in decades, I was seeing these little blocks on my stomach. And they are it's not like a hardcore bodybuilding body, but I could see this little block starting to shape up, losing weight on my stomach. And it made me think of, and I'm going to share something very, very personal, but I want to do it so that and that's how I've lived my whole life. I've put lots of my life on display to help other people. But I've been with my friend, and he was holding me, and he was lightly caressing my stomach. And it was horrifying for me, because I felt there couldn't be anything more sexy than somebody actually sort of caressing your stomach. And I was saying to him, no, I don't like it, and please don't do that. And I also didn't want to get into a discussion about it right there and then. But this morning, standing in the mirror, and I looked at my stomach, and I thought, that is how your body plays such a big role when it comes to intimacy and sexuality, because there's so many things that you can't do when you are overweight, or you can't move, or your body can't produce the way it should be, or B, you have your own insecurities, and a combination of that makes you a poor sex partner, isn't it? Because something that could be very sensual or sexual, you would hesitate to do, because all I could think of at that moment is he is feeling my stomach, and that's the last thing that I want him to do, regardless of him seeing me naked. I just didn't want that connection. Where this morning I was really standing in the mirror, and I was thinking about that day, and I thought, being overweight doesn't help you. It doesn't serve you. Now I'm going to reverse a lot back for you. Many years ago, or when I grew up, or I was really, my life was most of my friends were in the modeling industry, and they were in full movies and model industry. And if I say model industry, I don't mean they were wearing a ball gown in a mall fashion show. They were high-end, top international models. And my male friends were all bodybuilders and sports people. So two things happen. Either I felt insecure, because face it, if you still going out with people that looks like that, you are definitely not the most attractive person around in the group. So you either overcompensate by dressing weird and eccentric, and then you make a statement, or you are the very nice person where all the other people are just drop dead gorgeous. So that is the one, that is the link. And you can either sort of grow up with a self-worth and self-esteem problem and try to overcompensate by working on your personality. Now, I must say, why I'm sharing that is by whom you're mixing with plays a big role in your way you dress and the way you are. And I suppose it also rubs off on your personality. If you are with people, I am not, my friends in Cape Town that is much older now, I would say when I'm around them, I feel 150 years old, because they are the social scene, for instance, in Cape Town is so much more sexy and dressy. And when I sometimes go with them, I feel like, oh, I don't feel nice at all, because my lifestyle has changed such a lot. So when I'm spending time with them, I don't feel as hot as what I could be or need to be or want to be. And why I'm sharing that is because if I had to live there, I would have had to up my game so much, because who wants to feel out when you're with your friends? So I'm just going to say one thing. Think about who you're mixing with. I always use an easier example. When you have friends that is all bad-mouthing guys and maybe a bunch of divorced women, and they're sitting and talking about how shit men are and that they are useless, that is your frame of mind. That is what you think about life and men and relationships. So the same as anything else. If you think, all I'm going to ask you to do is think about who you're mixing with and what is the conversations and how are they converting themselves, how they're carrying themselves, and think about, have you adjusted yourself to fit in with them, or are you actually the one that is making a difference and standing out? Now, the other thing is about, I think about personality. I might be crucified because of that. But when you are very good looking and you are very thin, as having a hot, good body, you don't have to work so hard to be liked. You don't have to work so hard to be accepted. You don't have to be working hard to fit in. You can just show up in your look. If you're not, you have to dig deeper, work harder to be liked, to get a personality, to build tools and skills to make a package. And I think when I look over the years and look at certain people that I know well in my life, and I think, it is an advantage to not have been a traditional size 32, 34, because I had to learn to work on my skill set, my personality, my sense of humor, my wit, the things that I'm interested in, where if you were just thin and good looking, you can kind of show up and you fit in. And I've seen over the years in various situations where people were dating, or somebody dated that person that was just a showstopper, or she was a showstopper, that men tire very quickly of the look, because behind the look there's nothing else. So if you haven't been thin all your life, then most probably you're sitting there and you look at me and you're not, and you realize you've done something really hard. You've worked on yourself, you created skills, you've become a woman with substance. But I'm also going to say to you, years ago when I lived in the States, I really wanted to do modeling, and I wanted to do plus size modeling. And there was this famous woman in New York. I was trying to think about her name today, but she was really the pioneer of plus size modeling. And she was doing an audition for me, and I was told that I am not big enough yet, because if you wanted to do plus size modeling, you really had to be excessively big so that they can do that, or you actually have to be thin enough so that they can pad you up so that you look like a plus size model. But that was those years. Right today they really like a little bit of voluptuousness, and that is what a plus size model is. But many of you also know that after that, when I actually lived in the Middle East in Dubai, I authored a book on how to be a plus size model. And that is just in the beginning when plus size modeling became quite quite famous in the fashion world. But I must honestly say today, sitting here being much thinner than I've ever been in a long time, is that that book could not be authentic. The reason why is because I never accepted being overweight. I never wanted to celebrate being and you know what, we are so easy by saying that you are voluptuous and you've got curves and you're a curvy woman, but the bottom line is you are fat. And I didn't want it to be fat. I didn't enjoy being fat. And there is nothing, no other way of me trying to explain it is that how can I sell a book and celebrate being big and beautiful if I actually feel uncomfortable by being fat? And I think that, you know, there's such a movement about accepting your size. And, you know, I think there was one of my favorite actresses. She wrote a book, I'm not a size 6 and I'm never going to be a size 6, something like that. And I loved her when I grew up. But the bottom line is, you know, you looking into the mirror, and are you okay with the fact that you are fat? Because it it can never be okay to dress something and you feel a tire around your stomach, and your stomach is hanging over your pants, and your bra is bulging at the back because you've carried so much fat on your back. How can that be sexy? I remember years ago, one of my best friends picked up so much weight, and her husband, thanks God, got divorced because he was just the worst thing that ever happened to her. Said to her that he's okay with her becoming so fat because he loves her the way she is, and she just let go and just became this plump. And in real life, how terrible is his self-worth, and he was just a blob, that he wanted his wife to be shapeless and figureless simply to make him feel better. So why I'm saying it is a very personal journey, it is you that need to stand in the mirror and say to yourself, is this what I'm seeing? Okay. You know, when I look at some pictures, there's a picture of me, and I will try and post it. I will find it. There's a picture of me where I was handing out trophies in the Maldives at a football tournament, where the picture was taken from the back, and I had like a shawl on like this, but a different purplish shawl as well, with a long blue flowy dress. I looked at that picture and I thought, how on earth did I thought I looked well? I was humongous. I must most probably be twice the size that I am now when I look at this picture from the back, and I think, you know, the fact that I was even wearing this shawl and long dress with it, it made me look horrendous. And I realized that again, when we overweight, we try to compensate by dressing nice, because I remember that day everybody was telling me I looked gorgeous, because I did. It was a turquoise dress, a sundress, and I was tan like hot, and I love the sun. So, fat always looks better when it's brown. So I was very tanned and good looking and lovely and happy, and I had a shawl around my shoulders, and I was going to football, and it was raining men, and I was about the only woman, and I was invited to hand over the trophies. Of course, I wouldn't think there was something really wrong with me, right? Until I look back and I think, how huge have I been? It's not sexy, it's not sensual. And when I think back about younger years, I think when I studied drama, I was told that I have to lose weight because I will only get roles as a mother or a maid, or something like that, because you're too big. You need to be thin to get work. Now, understanding, I know it may sound very harsh to you, but we grow up, especially when you're a younger girl and you grow up and you're not thin. Do you know how much is taken away from you in life? I sometimes still move between two chairs. And then I wonder, will I fit through those two chairs? Because what if I don't and I get stuck? And it's just simply because it's a psychological thing from years ago and I wasn't like this big blob person. I was just not thin. And you start building up a little wall and covering and compensate for certain things because you're not a thin person. And people can say what they want and how they want to say it. But if you are more in shape, you carry yourself better, and you have much more confidence in yourself. And it's not about pleasing a man or being better in bed than you could be. It is about you feeling confident and sexy, to take off your clothes and to be and look attractive, because face it, there's beautiful women in the world that is really big. Of course, if you are if you're very overweight, you have very little wrinkles, right? Because your face is all puffy. But if you lose weight, you may show some wrinkles. So there's very sexy women, figurely outside, made up. But would that same woman look the same standing naked in a mirror without the makeup and a look that can make her look sensual, by standing there with a stomach that bulges hanging over your pants, big ass, bra bulging over the sides, and having a thick double chin? Who wants to look like that on a picture with a double chin? That is horrendous, right? So I would like to ask you, and I'm making this because first you have asked me, how did I lose weight? And secondly is because I know what it has done for me. I started by my psychological process, and I will share. And then I have done things, but I had to learn what my body is doing. If I eat something wrong, if it triggers, everybody is on fat, and fat is believed to make you lose weight. But I'm not somebody that can tolerate fatty foods and oily stuff. So I have to find a way to put my body in losing weight mode but I cannot dump a lot of butter in my coffee because I will fall over. So you have to go search, research, find the gurus that can help you. And I'm not sharing this because I want to become a guru in weight loss, not at all, but because for me it is the fact that I've found some things that work, and when it doesn't anymore, I look further and I do intermittent fasting, and I eat small meals or my calories, I am not eating even 1,500 calories. I most probably now at about 900 calories a day, because I try to up it, because everybody believes I'm eating too little. But so there isn't a one size fits all for all of us, but you need to go figure out. And I think the secret also lies in, it's not about a diet, it's about a lifestyle. How can you do something that I can do for the next 5 or 10 years? Would I be able to do this rituals for the next couple of years? Will I be able to sustain that so that I can be into the place? And lastly, I want to say, there's the same things that we get indoctrined with. You have to eat 3 meals a day. Life is bad if you don't eat breakfast. You have to have 3 meals and 3 snacks. All that crap that we've been growing up with and live with is the same when on the other side of the coin, where we say, that person is older, so they can't look the same than what they used to look like, or that person is going to be in menopause. I think it is so horrendous. If you think about, I'm going to use an example, a couple of examples. One is Jennifer Aniston as an example, because we're all familiar with her look, her public persona. The first thing you would say is, yes, because she has a lot of money, she can look like that. You know what? Money. You can have all the money in the world, but it doesn't make you eat right or exercise. It is the fact that you decided, do you want to put a tag around your neck to say, because I'm older, I can't be hot and sexy anymore. I have a fantastic friend. Her name is Sandy. Now, Sandy is maybe a year or two older than us, but her body is looking 200 times better than a 20-year-old body, because she trains and she exercises and she eats right. And she did not buy into this crap of, because I'm older, I have to dress in a certain way and I have to look like a certain way. Her body looks better than she looked in her entire life. I take another example. I have a friend, she used to be a top model, Alita, and she is still really one of the socialites in Cape Town. When you see her, she looks like, most probably, I know Alita already from before. I think she was 18, 19. I know her already. Alita looks most probably better today than she looked for me when she was still like the face of Sun International when she made all their advertisements. And I look at her and I saw one of the ex-Miss South Africans posted a picture of them maybe a year or two ago and saying, she looks amazing, the hottest 50-year-old model or person. And I thought, what a disgusting thing to write, because what does it mean you look hot because, or you look good, or you're the best good looking 50-year-old person? You are not looking hot because you're that age. You're looking hot because you're looking hot. When I meet her, she shows up in a restaurant with hot leather pants, nice top, nice jacket, hair is fantastic. She doesn't look like she is a 50-year-old person trying to look nice or just do a little something. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is move away from, or break that the chain inside of you that says, because you're older, you can't look a certain way. Because someone says that women over 45 should have a tube around their stomachs. It's not true. Yes, you may take a little longer to lose the weight, but it is all up here. When you fall in love with someone, you don't love that person with an older love, isn't it? When you make love to someone, when you kiss someone with the insides of your heart, you don't kiss like someone that's a bit older. right? When you give your body to someone, when you make love, when you have fun, you don't do it by a maturity because someone that is a bit older should. Is there a rule that says if you over 40 you should make love in this particular position? No, right? So break away from that chains that wants to chain you down from being the best version of what you can be. Being thin doesn't mean you have to be unhealthy. Being thin for you might not be a size 32 or a size 34. And it is not what the keto diet says or how much fat you should have in your body and how many times you should do exercise. I think it is to stand in the mirror and say to yourself, you know what? I am too sexy for my kaftans. I loved my kaftans all my life long, when I was thin and when I was much curvier. Now that I'm actually losing weight, I actually love wearing them even more because now the kaftan is flowing and you're seeing the shape of the body and the shape of your legs so much better. When I was a little bigger, the kaftan helped me to disguise that areas that wasn't very well adjusted. But don't you dare any one day longer fall into the trap of overcompensate by saying to yourself, because I'm older, I can look like this. Because my social life is not much to talk about, I can look like this. Because there's no man in your life, because you don't sleep with someone at the moment, you letting go. If you stand in the mirror and if you okay with a tube around your stomach, with wearing a little something and the fabric is clinging to your stomach and it's rolling over your pants, ask yourself, is that okay for you? Is that really okay? Because I can also dress up and I will look the best in the room because I've always had confidence and I can walk into a room and some people just have, and I'm not saying it in vanity, but can make a statement because if it's an inner confidence that you have, you can do that. But will I be able to walk into that room with my panty and my bra? And will I still be able to project that confidence or that look? I bet you not, because then you don't have the cover ups of jewelry or a scarf, or you can be sensual. Can you look yourself in the mirror? Can you stand face up and say to yourself, this body is what I have? And would you like to make love to this body? Would you like to parade in front of the person that you love with your whole heart in this naked body? And then you start thinking, you know, life is challenging. Competition is around. We need to make sure that we're looking the part every single day. You know, I've hosted so many workshops for women, and I always spoke about your lingerie and, you know, what are you wearing when nobody is watching? And, you know, many of you have been to my workshops all over the years, and it's not something new that I speak about. It is material that I've spent my whole life promoting and speaking about. How do you dress? How do you feel about yourself when nobody is watching? And I am grateful that I have been on this journey. I also learned that weight loss, becoming thin, is not a 3-month project. It's most probably, depends on your size, at least an entire year project, because it's so easy to lose that 5 or 6 or 7 kilos in the beginning. It's not difficult. The bigger you are, the easier it is. it's beyond that. It's when your body is not reacting anymore that you need to start fine-tuning into your body and to listen to what people are saying. This person is talking crap, or this person has just read a story in the Huisgenoot and they're trying to make them sound all clever. Try to take the information and make it applicable on you and see how it is reacting with you and how your body can work through this. Now, in this post that I'm going to give you, you will find the different processes that I've used in terms of the psychological process and the tapping and how I use it. I still do it every day. Something that I most probably will definitely include is somebody sent me a wonderful video of that you can should lie on your back and lift up your legs on a wall, and how incredible that is for your circulation and the blood pumping to your lungs and your heart, to your heart, not lungs, and how amazing that is. Now, I've started incorporating that, but it's a bit boring for me just to lie for 20 minutes. So I take a meditation and I lift my legs up and I do a meditation. I have started including that as well. So, my darling friends, I want to say to you, it is never too late to start a new chapter in your life. It is never too late to get your mind fixed up. I am a positive psychology coach. I'm going to be motivating and coaching my whole life. It's not even work for me. It comes as part of my soul. And I just realized and learned that that it is how important it is to feel good about your body. You know, women always lose weight when they go through a bad breakup, or when they love somebody a lot and they can't see him or be without him. And I always said, one day when I really lose all my weight, I'm going to know that I found the one person that I love more than what love is. And that's actually, sometimes a person loves somebody that is bigger than love. And maybe some of you have a love in your life like that, where you realize that the love that you have for this person is actually bigger than love. It's so profound, it's so big that it's even bigger than you. And I think in this last year, I've learned now that I've lost lots of weight, and I look at myself and I think that the person that loves you just the way you are, and that has loved you or made love to you just the way you are, deserve to see you, deserve to touch you, deserve to have you when you are in a much better shape, when you are gloriously sexy and beautiful, because that person deserves to hold you, embrace you, and feel you without a stomach in the way or a fat little bit of ass between you two, but having this glorious body with you. And for you to dress up and look at yourself in the mirror and feel like you can wear anything. The great feeling of wearing anything is the greatest. My friends, I love you. And I sending you blessings and love and glorious colors. I hope that you will be wearing one of my beautiful kaftans very soon, and it will help you balance your mood, and it will help you being more creative and more sensual and sexual. And I hope and I can just wish for you to have the greatest love of your life, because life is too short to settle for anything less. Don't ever, 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 ever settle for less. Be with a person that makes your toes crawl still inside out. Be with a person that if you hear the person's little knock, or the person approaching you, that you feel those butterflies inside of you. Always make sure that you stay connected to the butterflies, because love is a fairy tale, and if you make it out as a chore, then doing washing, it will be washing. If you make it a fairy tale, you will have all the magic that comes with it. I send you love, I send you blessings, and loads of fun.